And that first look is yours. That first look is yours, subhanAllah. But we become so desensitized because of Bollywood and Hollywood and Cairowood and I'm sure other Japanese wood with the animation going on next door, right? Is that we're not just glancing. We're actually checking out. We're not glancing, we're checking out. And as human beings, all of us are prone to it. All of us are prone to check out. Because why? Because of all of the variables around us that give us criteria. They give us criteria on what checking out should be based upon. On facial characteristics, on skin color, on body parts. I'm not saying anything of new to you, it can't be that surprising, but that's what it is. Look at the cosmetic industry. Why are there 1,000 different conditioners? 1,000 different sets of shampoos? And then blends of those typical conditioners and shampoos. Right? Curly hair, wrinkly hair, like jammed together hair, like hair that hasn't been shampooed in a month. I mean, everything is a solution for it. You're like, oh my God, this is me. You're like, you're just embarrassed to go out to the checkout counter because it's going to be like a 1 month counter. But it's there. Why is it there? Because hair is something you should look at. Why is it there? In terms of your physical body, dieting, why is it there? Because the body, right? Everything has to be about looking good. Everything is about looking good, checking out. Right? Hey, check it out. Right? SubhanAllah, we're so late at everything. But brothers, I'm with you. Right? I've done it and I'm coming out of it, so I'm not talking about things that haven't happened. We're so late with everything, but when it comes down to checking out, we're like, dude, 9 o'clock. Dude, 9 o'clock. Dude, it's 9 o'clock. Okay, now it's 9:15. Hello. Right? We're into it. We're like, oh my God, okay, Dude, no, you thought 9:15? No, midnight. Midnight. We're taking time by this guy. We're mixing things and not being on time when we're required to be in salah, and we're using the checking out process to tell the time what's happened, right? So basically, that's not going to be something that's going to be helpful. So that's a danger. It's an imminent danger. Now, I'm not saying don't look good. SubhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ, came to perfect character, came to perfect hygiene. Right? The West, the Orientalists sometimes look at Islam, they take things out of context and say, this man was talking about how to clean yourself. You think that's an advanced religion that has to focus on cleaning yourself? No. If you only look at that, then that's the answer you'll come up with, and it's a simplistic, completely void of its context. But if you look at the larger scope of things, every aspect of Islam tells you to look good, to dress well. The Prophet ﷺ applied perfume, the cologne in the common language. And why? Because you want to smell good. But then he said similar standards cannot be had for women. Similar standards cannot be had for women, so much so that if a woman, the Prophet ﷺ tells us, if a woman, and these are not my opinions, nothing should be said from the stage, that's just opinion. He said that if a woman walks and the scent of her perfume is caught, then the person catching it is committing adultery, and the one wearing it is committing adultery. SubhanAllah. This is the reality of Islam. That this is what's happened, is that we become so desensitized that we don't even look at the variables that lead to all of this confusion. We're looking at the extreme results. The extreme results that manifest themselves in statistics and everything else. Abdullah Adhami, SubhanAllah. May Allah protect him and also, give him good health. He's traveled a lot, and SubhanAllah, in teaching us. In I remember one of the gatherings he told us very clearly to the brothers, he advised us not to wear t-shirts that are short-sleeved. He just clearly said that. Is it part of the aura? No. You're allowed to, you can. But he said that in terms of matters of decency, in standards of decency, don't do it. And SubhanAllah, won't you know it? A friend of mine, actually in college, a totally non-Muslim woman, fellow student was wearing a t-shirt and she was like, your forearms are sexy. Allah is our witness. Literally. And you would have never thought that somebody's heart would have been inclined towards the forearm of a man. And you don't know what's there. You don't know what's even there in the hearts, in each of our hearts as we're interacting. But as I come to the conclusion of the lecture, you'll see that the test will be that even when no one else knows your intentions, even when no one else knows what's going through that processing mind of yours, when that voice is talking to you, Allah knows. Allah knows. إِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ Allah, in all other parts of the Quran, when the Prophet ﷺ, the dialogue is taking place and people ask him, right? They ask him about the booty after war. What do we do about this? And Allah ﷺ says, Qul, say to them. But when the servant asks you about me, remind him, إِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي. He doesn't say, قُلْ فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. It's a straight out statement, فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. Indeed, I am close to him. And this gender interaction, that's where that lapse of judgment occurs. Is that it's only a second. I'm only checking her like that. I'm only checking him out like that. I think he might be the guy I want to marry. Right? I think he might be the girl, the sister I want to marry. Just for that second. And that grasp is there. And that desensitization is there because we're constantly barraged with any form of, even the news now is like infotainment. So even when you watch as news, sometimes stories come on that you wished for the sake of your iman, that you hadn't tuned in. That you hadn't tuned in. Because it's sure to leave some, inclination towards thinking more about it. Right? And it's all sometimes un-Islamic, even in its nature. Homosexuality, to hear about it, the marriage is everything. They constantly watch it in Massachusetts when they really did the weddings. They were running out holding hands and kissing each other and standing in front of the courthouse. And that's news. So you can't even say, I'm only watching news. No, because it's there. But if you have that inward righteousness that Sidi Omar Mahmoud just talked about in the last session, then you'll be guarding your chastity as Surah Nur says, by lowering your gaze, not just for the physical interaction, but now the virtual interaction through TV and through the entertainment sources, such as movies and everything else. So as you work together in school, on campus and at work, the religion of Islam is comprehensive. So it is definitely something that is allowed, and we can work with the gender, and I'll talk about some of the principles that emerge from the Quran and the teachings of Islam. Now, lowering the gaze and keeping it lowered. And as Brother Rami said yesterday, I have seen brothers being made fun of. Oh my gosh, have you met him? He's a freshman. He thinks he's so all that. Like he won't even look at the sisters. Have you seen her? The way she wears her hijab, she doesn't even look at anyone. She won't even look you in the eye. And he brought it home last night. He said, what if that person is really struggling with following the sunnah and that's their interpretation of that verse? To mock them would be a travesty. To mock them would be a travesty. It should be, in other words, a signal to look within oneself and not look out and make fun of those who are attempting to actually practice it. So the question becomes an interaction. Who's got your back? That's the question. Who's got your back? Because you alone cannot be fighting this battle. Somebody, the circle of friends, is bound to be affected. Who's got your back? Is it that group that tells you what to do and you follow, and therefore you end up in, not everyone always goes with peer pressure, but some of us do, right? We've had times when we're just messed up. We're like, oh man, I didn't really want to be here, and here I am. Right? I didn't really want to come to this, whatever gathering it is, and here I am. And Surah Tawbah,